Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is our Year to Shine, and this is our continued discussion on Louise Hay and Cheryl Richardson's book, You Can Create an Exceptional Life. I hope you're enjoying it so far. Tonight's video is going to be on the shorter side, I guess for me anyway, because this is one of the shortest chapters that I'm going to talk about. And I mentioned the title of it last time. It's called How You Start Your Day is How You Live Your Life. And I was thinking back, I know I did 2 specific videos last year in our Simple Abundance year about morning practices. And I talked about Louise Hay's morning meditations and talking about coming up with a soothing alarm clock and things like that. You know what I have now that I haven't shared with you guys is I have a sun alarm clock now. I actually don't use it as my actual alarm clock, but I do have it so that the sun comes up in the morning, right around the time that my musical alarms go off. And I like it because it's really dark in my place with my curtains closed. So sometimes it's just, in the morning, it's like that waking up feeling. And as I'm saying that, I shouldn't be saying that because Louise especially is telling us in this chapter that the way you start your day is how you live your life. So if I'm thinking I can't wake up, then that's not really how I want to live my life. But I shared with you last year, I'm really not a morning person. So if I could have my ideal situation, I would sleep until at least 9. That's really my comfortable time to get up. But that's not the way our society is, so I definitely get up earlier than that. But I try to make the morning flow, and I agree with the statements in this chapter that you really do have to set your day off on the right foot, or else it might go into a bad pattern of stress and chaos. So Louise feels really passionate about telling people that they need to start their days differently. Now, granted, she's retired and also at this point when the book is written independently wealthy, and so she can have a leisurely morning, get up when she likes, do a lot more than maybe some of us who are getting up and going off to work within the hour, or we've got kids to get up, taking care of an elderly relative or a spouse or just everybody around. So it may be a different situation for you, but we can still all gain something from this, even if we can't get up and do yoga for 2 hours or something. So, and Cheryl was really impacted by this. She says that she was really excited to go home and implement some of these things. So Louise says it's a game changer when you realize that how you start your day sets in motion a pattern of thinking that determines your experiences all day long. Remember in the last chapter we talked about how you can turn your thoughts around even in negative situations and then repattern the day. So if you start your day on a good foot, then that's better. So Louise tells us about this little routine. She has a little routine she's done for years. The moment she wakes up, she says, I snuggle my body a little more into the bed. I feel for the feeling of the bed. You know that feeling of how good your bed feels? Sometimes I'm more conscious of it when I get into the bed. And I thank it for a really good night's sleep. I do this for a few minutes, and as I start my day with positive thoughts, I tell myself things like, this is a good day. This is going to be a really good day. Then I get up, use the bathroom, and I thank my body for working well. I spend a little time stretching. I have a bar in the doorway actually where she does, she hangs on it. She doesn't do pull-ups. But I know I had a chiropractor one time who used to have me hang from the bar for 10 minutes every time I went. And it's something that we don't do once we get older. And we did that as kids, so I mean, that is really good for the body, they say. And Cheryl actually decided she was going to get one of those hanging bars, too. And she says she imagines Louise hanging from the bar. After I do a few stretches, I make a cup of tea, and I take it back to bed with me. I love my bed. Isn't this sounding just like the way that that Sarah Ban Breathnach from Simple Abundance shared with us last year, that she would do the same thing. She would get up and then she'd go back to bed, and she did reading and writing and things like that in the bed. So if you really love your bed like Louise or Sarah did, then it might be a nice practice for you too. And so she has a headboard specifically built at an angle so that she can lean up against it when she reads and writes. She said she's carried that headboard with her through multiple moves and everything. So when I get back into bed, then I do a bit of spiritual reading. I usually have a few things I'm reading at one time, and I interrupt. Oh wait, and then Cheryl's talking to her in the middle. I'm not going to go into their whole conversation, but Louise's morning routine. Oh, she talks about doing a crossword puzzle, or just she basically is not starting her day with chaos. Like, she hasn't opened an electronic device of any kind. It doesn't sound like, from what she describes, that there's really any sounds in the background, but you might like to have some soothing sounds as you wake up, or you might like to listen to a podcast or a YouTube channel or something like that. So it's a very leisurely morning, and we should all be so lucky, right? If we're not morning people, sometimes if you're like me, you are trying to get as much of the last minutes of sleep that you can before you absolutely have to get up. Like, I typically shower at night so that I don't have to put the time in the morning to do that. So I'd have to get up really early to do something this leisurely on a day that I go to the office anyway. On the days that I'm home, I could definitely do it. And I do let myself sleep in on some days. And then there are days that I schedule in some time to just sit and watch the birds in the morning too. So when I'm in charge of my own schedule, then it's a little bit different. So I can appreciate the morning relaxing time and setting the day off on a good foot. So Louise says she tries to give herself 2 hours before she faces people. I don't know that the average person could really do that, but maybe someday. She takes her time. She might sit on the bed and think about what she's going to have for breakfast, and also she thanks everything. You know, she thanked her bed for the good night's sleep. On her recording that I have, the morning and evening meditations from her, she goes all around the house. Like, she'll go in the kitchen and she'll say, like, thank you, kitchen, and just show gratitude for every little thing. Like, thank you for that I have a stove and water to drink. And so she's just starting her day with a lot of gratitude. So if there's an important activity that I'm going to do that day, I make sure to do a lot of positive affirmations around it. And I always do them in the present tense, as if the situation is already occurring. And we talked a little bit about that already. So Cheryl says, I'm amazed at Louise's ability to be positive and so upbeat. By now, we've spent enough time together for me to see that her disposition is consistent. This woman clearly lives in a positive world of her own making. Because this is so unusual, I can't help but wonder if she ever feels badly. So as she wraps up the description of her morning ritual, I asked, do you ever have a bad day or wake up in a bad mood or feel depressed? I'm glad she asked that, because that would be a very good question. Louise takes her time to carefully consider my question before responding. Not much anymore, she says. I've been practicing for a long time and I have good habits in place. It's all about practice. And we talked about that, and I mentioned like going up the hill, going down the hill. So Louise has done this practice for so long that she just is expecting to have a good day. And how could she not with such a nice morning ritual? What would be in your morning ritual if you really could do it? And if time were no issue and you could just start work whenever, what would you do? Might you do some stretching or listening to music, writing, reading, maybe even just stretching in the bed or snuggling with a kitty? My kitty likes to snuggle. So Cheryl goes home and she implements it as well. And then Louise has more things to say. Too many people think that you need to go somewhere to quietly focus on affirmations. So we talked a lot about affirmations last time. But we're doing affirmations all the time. Everything we think and say to ourselves is an affirmation. We need to be conscious of what we're saying and thinking all the time so that life can get better. And I'm thinking now of Abraham Hicks, and when Esther is bringing forth Abraham, sometimes she will say that people can get so worried about this, though. Like if you thought something and then you're trying to, like, she does this thing where she goes like she tries to like suck the thoughts back in, like, oops, I didn't mean to think that, like, think, but it's really more about momentum. So if you do think one bad thought, it's not like it's going to ruin the whole day, unless you give it like a ton of power, or if it starts you down a rabbit hole or something. But don't worry too much about, like, if you mess up, and it's not like you have to do like, oh, I take that back. But the more you become conscious of what you're saying or thinking, the more you will realize, like, that is a negative thought. And then you may not want to have that anymore. And so Cheryl's talking about her own experiences. So Cheryl summarizes by saying, listening to Louise describe the start of her day fills me with ideas of how to build upon the changes that I've already made in my mornings. And at the moment, my day starts once I'm downstairs making a cup of tea. I take it into the sunroom with my journal and my favorite pen. And she talks about how she has some writing habits that she does. And she's just like me, because she's talking about how she likes to journal as a way of pointing her thoughts in the right direction. And then I might watch an inspiring video or read a bit from a favorite book or website. So in both cases, these ladies are telling us that they're really starting their day in a extremely positive and consciously positive way. So they both share in not trying to set appointments, meetings, or conversations that might be difficult in the morning. She wants time to herself where she's able to be connected with her own thoughts and feelings. Imagine if we all did this. I have to say, I love to journal and everything, but it's usually like a weekend thing. I can't say that I do it every day. But when I sit down and I just get together with my thoughts in my journal or my planner, it's so calming. If I started my day that way, I guess if it's a work day, I might be so task focused that it might get stressful. But I can imagine if other people out there just sat down with their thoughts in the morning, there would be a lot of changes in the world, I think. So Louise just closes by saying, we have to start somewhere. If you're a busy mom or dad who needs to get the children ready for school, or if you have to get off to work, it's still important to give yourself some time to start your day off in the right way. I'd rather wake up earlier to have the extra time in the morning. Even if you only give yourself 10 or 15 minutes, that's good. It's your time for self-care, and this is absolutely necessary. So she does share some affirmations as well, and she likes to do that in this book. So when you first wake up and you open your eyes, you can say, "Good morning, bed. Thank you for being so comfortable. I love you." These are just examples. And then, darling, and then you insert your name. "This is a blessed day. All is well. I have time for everything I need to do today." Looking in the bathroom mirror, "Good morning," insert your name. "I love you. I really, really love you. There are great experiences coming our way today. You look wonderful. You have the best smile. Your makeup or hair looks perfect. You are my ideal woman. We are having a terrific day today. I love you dearly." And that's, again, to yourself, not to your spouse or significant other. "In the shower, I love my body and my body loves me. It is such a pleasure to take a shower. The water feels so good. I am grateful for the people who designed and built this shower. My life is so blessed. Using the bathroom, I easily release all that my body has no longer needs. Intake, assimilation, and elimination are all in divine right order." Wow, if everybody said that too. Wow. "Getting dressed, I love my closet. It's so easy for me to get dressed. I always pick the best thing to wear. I'm comfortable in my clothing, and I trust my inner wisdom to pick the perfect outfit for me. So I bet you could come up with affirmations like that about the various things that you might do in the morning. So Cheryl's talking about her experiences in going home and changing her routine again, like I said. So this is a statement just like what I said. Imagine how different the world would be if we raised children with the skills to manage their thoughts and actions in a positive way. If we invest even 1/10 of the energy we put into schoolwork, sports, or extracurricular activities into developing this critical life skill, we could actually shift consciousness on the planet in a palpable way. That is true, and it would take very aware adults to implement that in a child's life. And then the rest of this is Cheryl closing up this time that they were together. So once you have this ritual down, pick another and keep practicing. Don't overwhelm yourself. So maybe you don't do 10 things in the morning. You start with just one thing. Like maybe you liked that idea of grabbing your favorite pen and your journal and just writing for 5-10 minutes. Like it doesn't have to be 2 hours. And feel good as you do it. And Cheryl just says at the end, how could I be feeling anything less than wonderful? After all, I'm engaged in a masterclass with a gal who knows how to live well, exceptionally well. And it didn't happen overnight either. Remember Cheryl talked to us, and Louise as well, about how it was really like in their 40s that they started to be awakening to living in a different way. I'm reaching for the affirmation cards because I was remembering I always said I was going to do a wisdom card whenever I do a video. These are from these are from Louise's wisdom cards. So let's see what additional affirmations we have to add to those morning ones that she gave us. And think about what you can do in the morning to add to yours. Let's see what we get. All of my changes are easy to make. And that's kind of neat for the fall because look at the leaves and the colors. Okay, on the back it says, in order to change my life outside, I must change inside. The moment I am willing to change, it is amazing how the universe begins to help me. It brings me what I need. And in Louise Hay's video, You Can Heal Your Life, the video of it, there is an affirmation card at the very beginning of the movie, and it is, I am willing to change. So what a powerful statement that can be. And you might not be in a place where you are willing to change yet. But when you get there, then that's where transformation starts. How are you feeling? Are you feeling like you're liking this book? Feels so rooted in all the things that we talked about last year. So I'm really hoping that you're enjoying it. And it's nice to be with you again. I will see you on the next video, and we're getting towards a new month, so you know what that means. It means my envelope surprise. It means making the next month shine. It means the new self-care challenge. So we'll have all that, and we'll continue on the book. It's about, I remember I told you how thin it is. It's really, we've gone through about half of it. So maybe it'll end at the end of October. I have been eyeing, there's a new book coming out from Brene Brown. This is supposed to come out in November, so maybe we'll be done with this and we'll check that out. I don't know what the subject matter is, but I like Brene's work. So on to the next book after this, but for now I'm enjoying this, and I hope that you can think about your morning. And the next chapter is about how you spend your day is how you live your life. So taking this principle of having conscious effort, or just conscious awareness of how you're feeling and thinking and how you're setting the stage for your experiences beyond just the morning into our lives. So we'll talk about that next time. Looking forward to that. Love to you all. Bye-bye.